Welcome, everybody. I'm so excited you're here. We're going to get started in just a minute, just starting early so we can get things set up. Before we even begin this live workshop, can I just get a yes in the chat? Can you hear me? Can you see me? Those are arguably the two most important things. So as long as you can do that, we are good to go. We're going to have a great workshop tonight. Yes, beautiful. Awesome. All right, great. Wow. Well, while we wait, I will introduce myself in just a sec. Let me know where in the world you're calling in from. What's up, Heather? Thanks for coming. Sean, awesome. We got a great crowd tonight. Hello from Florida. Patricia, thanks for coming here tonight. Darren, I recognize that name. Excellent. Michelle, very cool. Wyoming, nice. Mike, I went to school at University of Wyoming. It's been a long time since I felt cold like that. That's just a different kind of cold up there. Deerhorn Valley, California. Rowdy, welcome. Thanks for coming. Kim from Whistler, British Columbia. We got Mexico City, Oregon, North Carolina, New York, Quebec, Chicago, Utah. How are we doing on Europe? I know it's pretty late or early in the morning there. Let's see. Go Pogues. Yeah, there we go. Massachusetts, Georgia. Great, amazing. San Francisco. Oh, this is all over. This is so cool. I'm so honored that all of you are here. This is going to be a great workshop tonight. Alberta, Canada, Philly, Camarillo, Elizabeth. I know that name. Welcome. Christie, South Carolina, Columbus, Ohio, Charleston. Beautiful. Excellent. Texas, Kentucky. Sweet. Well, look, it is time to get things started. Just a big welcome, everybody, to the squat workshop. I'm going to introduce myself in a second because I know a lot of you are new here. But first, I already see many of you are dropping in the chat where you're tuning in from. While you're at it, why don't you also share what brought you here? Or maybe one thing that you want to learn from me throughout this workshop. You know, it's really important to me that I want to make sure that this is very valuable for you. So it's important that you walk away from this feeling like this was 100% worth your time. So whatever it is, drop it in the comments. I'd love to read that. And, you know, that's one of the reasons why we're here tonight, which is to connect and to make a bigger change. But more specifically is to figure out what the heck is going on with your body when you're trying to squat, what doesn't feel right, and what to do about it. Just as a side note, while all of you are putting your requests in the comment section, having a chair close by and a couple pillows would be great. I'm going to go grab one real quick. Okay, we are now good to go. Excellent. So some people want to learn how to walk better. Nice. So Paul, every time you garden, end up in pain on your back, pain in the knees from calcium deposits. Somebody knows squatting well is important, tight quads. Oh, we are going to get into it tonight. Let's see. Severe back pain. You brought me here, Pain Academy. I did, didn't I? Excellent. So brain and nervous system, stop and squats, Melissa. Would like to fix that. You literally just planted such a beautiful seed for what we're going to get into tonight. And Jennifer, you want to squat without pain? Okay. All right. Well, let's get things going. I'm sure it's probably a lot of different versions of squats feel off, body doesn't feel like it's moving good. And that's what we're going to do. So here is going to be a really quick look at what tonight is going to be all about. So we are all going to spend about 90 minutes together, and I want to make sure every minute counts. So let's quickly go over the structure so you know exactly what's laid out in front of us. So first, we're going to start off with understanding tonight. Before we start moving, I'm going to break down why squats can feel off, why your body might be compensating, locking up, or guarding, even when you've been stretching or strengthening. You know, I think we can all agree that the internet is full of, you know, one size fits all quick fixes, you know, do this one stretch, try this one quick trick. But if you're here, it's probably because those quick trick solutions just haven't worked out for you, and you're probably craving something a little more. So what you need isn't more random noise, it's clarity. It's a deeper understanding of how your body actually works. And that is what I want to give you all tonight. Because on the other side of that clarity is what you want, which is real, lasting change. So, I'm going to talk for about 5 to 10 minutes to walk you through a really powerful research study that can help explain the science behind stiffness, movement pattern dysfunctions, and protection. This way, you're not just doing random exercises blindly, you're learning how to listen to your body and follow a strategy that is not only rooted in science, but it's also proven through real world results. So, if you've ever felt confused or frustrated about why your body feels the way it does, this will help lay down a foundation to give you clarity. So, after we talk about the study, we're going to then move into assessments. I plan, just based on how this chat is going, I'm going to plan on walking you through two specific movement assessments that are going to give you clear, honest snapshots of how your body is moving and what might be holding it back. First, we're going to take a look at your squat, not just depth and how deep you can go and what that feels like, but how your body chooses to move, how the nervous system organizes that movement. Then we'll do a really simple test to help decode whether your issue is a true mobility problem, right? Like structural, true tight tissue, or if it's a control issue, meaning your nervous system is restricting movement to keep you safe. And if you're anything like me, most people never thought to test that. But when you do, the results can be pretty profound and eye-opening. So it's going to explain why for many of you, despite stretching, you feel like you're still stuck. Once we know what your body's telling us based on those assessments, I'll then use that information to guide you through a very precise, short targeted routine designed to speak directly to what your system needs, whether that's restoring range of motion, building back trust, coordination, or just improving motor recruitment patterns. After the assessments, I'll lead you through that routine that's built specifically for what we uncover in the assessments. So specific movements designed to unlock restriction, build trust, and bring your body back into balance one exercise at a time. It's important to me that this isn't about guesswork, it's about recalibration. And by the end, I want you to feel that shift for yourself. And then finally, to wrap up the workshop tonight, we're going to reassess your squat again at the end to see what changed in real time. And that's my favorite part. If you've joined me on any of the challenges, watching the chat section light up with all these aha moments, it's incredible. So we'll talk about what changed and more importantly, why it changed. And my goal for you is to walk away with a new insight and a felt sense of what happens when your body is finally given the right input. So if you came here hoping to understand your body better and walk away with tools that you can keep using long after tonight, you are exactly in the right place. Just so we're all on the same page, this workshop is for you if your squats feel awkward, unstable, or just off. You've tried stretching, yet you still feel tight. You have noticeable muscle imbalances. You've tried strengthening and have noticed the stronger you get, the worse you feel. This is for you if your squats hurt. And this is also for you if you're just basically tired of Band-Aid fixes and want to know why this is happening. And lastly, this workshop is for you if you're ready to experience a real shift right here using your own body. Now, all that being said, I know many people, this is your first time here. So for those of you who don't know me yet, my name is Vinny Crispino. I'm founder of Pain Academy. And a quick backstory, before I was helping others get out of pain, I was drowning in it. I felt like I was stuck in a body that it felt like had completely turned against me. Every movement, even basic ones, felt like a threat. And I, probably like you, was searching desperately for answers in how to work with a body that no longer felt my own. I didn't care about movement until I couldn't. When I was a much younger man, my only experience with my body was being able to push it and it giving me everything I wanted. I was a former 8-time All-American Division I collegiate swimmer with over 30 plus Colorado State records. And in my early 20s, I broke my back in a surfing accident. And this wipeout sent me into a rock and my lower back took the full force of that. I suffered an immediate T12 fracture, multiple herniations, and subsequent nerve damage shifted my spine 21 degrees to the side. And, just like that, I went from being this high performing athlete who felt invincible to full blown disability, hardly being able to walk. And, I went from feeling bulletproof and unstoppable to like literally being scared of stairs. I had no trust in my body, only constant pain and flare ups and limitations and countless setbacks. So I can't even begin to stress that if you've ever felt like your body's failing you or nobody's listening to you, I've been there. And probably like you've experienced, after my injury, I went into full survival mode. I was desperately trying anything and everything I could find just to even like try to feel normal again. Chiropractors, PT, acupuncture, massage, pain clinics, drugs, quick fixes, gimmicky products that just collected under my bed and in my closet. I was desperate to reach out to any guru online who would answer my questions. And, some of this stuff helped for a little while, but nothing really stuck. And I spent probably like many of you, over a decade and well over tens of thousands of dollars just chasing relief and still felt like a prisoner in my own body. And I remember, 5 years after my injury, limping out of another chronic pain clinic, fresh drug prescription in hand, thinking, is this it? Is this just how it's going to be? Managing pain with drugs? Like, is this what the grand plan of healing is? And that was my breaking point. I was done handing over my healing to a system that didn't care about me. I was done being passed back and forth between interns while being gaslit by doctors about whether my pain was even real. And so I finally just took matters into my own hands and I went back to square one. I put myself through school. I started studying movement. I got certified first as a personal trainer, then a corrective exercise specialist. I studied exercise science, exercise physiology, biomechanics, neurology, and nervous system regulation. And at a certain point, I did all this not to build a business, but because my life depended on it. Me being a father depended on it. And at a certain point, I went from collecting knowledge to just putting it all together and starting to put it into motion. And my body became a lab. Every mistake painfully taught me something new. Every small breakthrough became a part of this bigger system to shape what I now teach. And once I found what actually worked in the real world, under real pain, with real limitations, I started sharing it and watched it work for other people just as well. And, the tools that I'm going to be sharing with you tonight, this way of seeing and working with your body, this is what took me from not being able to stand for more than 5 minutes to running and completing one of the hardest 50-mile ultramarathons in North America. Not because I just pushed through pain or ignored it, but because I finally understood how to listen to what my body needed, and more importantly, how to give it what it needed and rebuild it from the ground up. So, I say all of this because years ago, I was probably where you might be right now, skeptical, burned out, and tired of being promised fixes that just didn't work. And, I walked into every new thing thinking, is this just another scam? But the moment I felt my body shift, even just a little bit, I knew I was onto something real. And that is what I want for all of you today, to feel that spark for yourself. Now, before we get started, I want to be real with you from the start. I am not here to sell you a miracle fix or some one magic stretch that solves everything overnight. You've probably tried those. And if you're here, it's probably because you know that stuff doesn't really deliver. It's frustrating as hell, but even worse, it can make you feel like you are the problem, but you're not. And I respect your intelligence and your journey too much to just continually spoon feed you empty promises. So let's all get on the same page. What I am here to do is help you see your body, and your squat in a totally new way. Today, we are going to dig into what's really going on. Is your body physically locked up, or is your nervous system restricting motion because it's convinced movement is harmful? Maybe it's a little bit of both. And by the end of these 9 minutes, you're going to feel something different. Even if it's just a little small shift, like 5% less tension, or a little bit more ease squatting, or maybe a spark of hope that you can squat significantly better. And if you feel that, this is not a fluke. It's your body saying, I'm listening. And that's when you'll know what I'm saying is real. So, if this experience speaks to you, I'll share with you how you can keep learning from me and go deeper with my program. But first, I want you to feel the change for yourself. No pressure, no hype, just you, your body, and a chance to start something new. Make sense? Sound good? So I'm seeing a lot of questions. I'll have a time at the end for a live Q&A. So try to bear with me. So that all being said, let's dive into something that's going to help flip how you think about your body. You all have shared why you're here. I saw a lot of feeling stiff, feeling tight. I saw a lot of structural abnormalities. A lot of people saying they just feel off when they move. And all of that's true, right? That's your experience. But what if the problem isn't what you've been told? What if that tight, guarded feeling in your hips or your back isn't just tight muscles, but your brain playing bodyguard? Now, I'm going to walk you through a single study that blew my mind when I first read it, and there are dozens more just like it. This is not about science. It's about the key to understanding why your squats feel stuck and, more importantly, how to start fixing them. So try to stick with me for the next 5 minutes so we can begin laying down a solid foundation and rebuilding a framework that can shave years off of your search for how you can move and feel better. So this directly ties to why your body feels stiff, locked up, or disconnected. When I first started rebuilding my body after my injury, I thought my tight hips and restricted squats were just me being broken. I had the scans to strengthen that story. I stretched, I foam rolled, I pushed, and nothing worked. What I found was a bunch of short-term wins that kind of made me feel better on the day, but didn't really move the needle long-term. And if anything, I was getting worse as time was going on. Type me in the comments if any of you can relate to what I just said. Until I finally stumbled into the science field of neurology, specifically a piece of research that made me question what I was actually healing. Yeah, a lot of me's in the chat. Okay. This single study showed me that the stiffness I felt wasn't my body failing, rather it was my brain trying to protect me. So this is not just a single study. It's one of dozens that I chose to share with you tonight that can be a window into why you feel the way you do. For my fellow nerds out there, I'm going to share what the study is in case you just want to go dive deeper into the research. So breaking this down, and then we'll get moving. In 2017, researchers Stanton and Mosley studied a group of people with chronic low back pain who had a stiff, tight back, probably in the same way you feel stiff in your ankles, knees, hips, or spine, especially if pain is in the mix. These researchers compared this stiff, tight, chronic pain group to a control group, people with no back pain or stiffness. And they measured 4 things. The first thing they measured was how much their spine actually moved. They used high-tech sensors to track how much the spine could really move. Every bend, flex, twist, or side-to-side movement. And the result was the stiff spines moved just as well as the pain-free group, the group with no tension. And the first takeaway from the study is that feeling stiff doesn't mean your body is stiff. Stiffness is a sensation, not a fact. The second thing that they studied was how stiff these people felt. So both groups, the stiff and the healthy group, were asked, how stiff does your back feel when you move it? The pain group reported feeling much more stiff, obviously, right? No brainer, even though they moved the same as the healthy group. So the takeaway here is that perception didn't match the movement. The feeling of stiffness didn't match what was happening physically, leading researchers to then look deeper into what stiffness really is. And as they went on, stiffness and tension started to point towards being a brain-generated protective sensation. Now, I know what many of you are thinking. Yeah, but my muscles are actually tight and they limit motion. I've got this, it's my weight, it's this structure. I've had this injury, this happened to me. I hear you. Same thing. I'm right in that ball camp with you. I broke my back. I couldn't do this. I gained weight. I hear you. And I'm not disregarding any of that right now. But this is where it gets really interesting. The third thing they studied was muscle tightness. They pressed a probe with pressure sensors into the back muscles to test measurable tension. And there was no difference between the groups. The stiff group's muscles weren't tighter than the healthier group. And the takeaway is that the muscles weren't physically tighter, but the participants were convinced that they were tighter, which leads to the deeper conclusion of this experience and this experiment and many others like it. And this is really important because you are all here to improve how you feel and move. The fourth thing that these researchers looked at, and this is the one that really drove it home, was they looked at pressure sensitivity. Researchers applied light pressure, so like a little poking rod, light pressure to their back, and gave these people a system of measurement and asked, hey, how intense do you feel this? The result was the stiff, painful group felt twice as much intensity from the same pressure applied. Now, the takeaway is their nervous system was amplifying sensory sensation. It was like the volume knob was turned way up. An example of this is like hearing aids being on an 8 out of 10 volume level, despite the conversation being a whisper. What all of this adds up to is nervous system dysregulation causes muscles to tighten more than the pain or soft tissue problems themselves. Now, we as a group are all going to test how real and true this is specifically for you. Now, the keynote here is, and this is really key, after working with people for years, I've learned no one person fits neatly into a box. There's always a spectrum. Maybe for you, your problem is 90% tissue restriction and 10% nervous system dysregulation. Or maybe the other way around. Maybe you do have a little bit of soft tissue restriction, but your nervous system is 90% dysregulated. And we're going to get to that in a minute. Here's where that study gets really wild. To test if researchers could change that stiff feeling, guess what they did? They played a noise, and the noise was like a creaky door. It was like a rusty hinge when the participants moved. And when the creak was loud, people felt more stiff. When it was quiet, they felt less stiff. Nothing in their body changed, just the sound. So what this shows is your brain doesn't just feel, it is interpreting, and it weaves together sounds and memories and environment, outside stress, relationship stuff, inside stress, and expectations to decide how stiff you feel. And this is huge for your squat. That wobbly knee, that tight hip, or that guarded back, it might not be a broken body. It might be your brain saying, let's play it safe based on old injuries, habits, or fears. Now, One way to make that real for you is picture this. Picture you're backing up your car and the parking sensor starts screaming at you because there's mud on it. Well, you check the mirror, the rear view mirror and the camera, the reversal camera, and nothing's there. There's no wall, there's no person, there's no dog, there's no car, just a blocked sensor. Your body, if you've been experiencing an injury, chronic stress, trauma, childhood adversity, could be doing the same thing. That tightness, that restriction, it's your brain's way of saying, slow down. Something's not right, even if it's safe. So I know what you're thinking, Vin, but Vinny, my tightness feels real. And it is. That's the point. Your pain, your stiffness, it's all valid. If you feel it, it's real. But the cause might not be what you think. And the good news is, if your brain can create that feeling, we can teach it to feel safe again. And that is what we're all going to do next. Okay. We're going to assess your squat, figure out if it's a tissue issue or a brain safety issue, and then start giving your body exactly what it needs to move better today. That could be a 6-hour conversation if you want, but that's the shortened version of it. All right, everybody, let's get moving. Let's stand up. So let's get into the 2 assessments that I have planned for us. What I would love is if everybody could stand up in the middle of whatever room you're in. No socks, no shoes, so feet flat on the ground. Nature 101, that makes so much sense. I'm under a lot of stress and feel stiff. Yeah, let's see what's really going on here. Totally get pain not making you want to move, Brenna. Yeah. Okay. All right. So we're going to start off with something really simple, which is a body scan through a squat. So everybody should be standing up right now. And what I'd like you all to do is stand with your feet right underneath your hips. We're not going to go wide-legged or rotate the feet out yet. I want to get an honest snapshot of what squatting with a straight leg feels like. And to do this, again, this is not about being perfect. This is not about using force. This is about just having an honest, raw snapshot. So what I'd like everybody to do is arms forward out in front of you. And from here, we are going to start bending our hips and sitting backwards. And stop when it starts to feel uncomfortable. You don't have to force it. Go down as low as you can control. And wherever your stopping point is, I want you to stay here for a second. Let's get a snapshot of how deep we can go. Where's your weight? Did it dump back on the heels? Did you lean forward on the toes? Did it shift from the right leg, maybe into the left leg? Are you noticing a lot of asymmetry? One hip tighter? Does one knee wobble? Does your back say, nope, this is too much and take over? Are we falling forward or backwards? Go ahead and stand up. This is your body's current game plan. No judgment, no comparison, just notice. Take that snapshot. And what I want everybody to tell me in the chat, in the comment section, 1 out of 10, what did that feel like? A 10 out of 10 is, man, that felt great. With both feet and knees pointing forwards, I can easily get down to the ground. My feet stay on the ground. I could probably rest here for 5 to 10 minutes. A 10 out of 10 squat is being able to bend your hips, knees, and ankles without needing to externally rotate too much. Maybe a 9 out of 10 is like, I can do it, but only through external rotation. I can't really do it with a neutral hip and pelvis. Maybe a 5 out of 10 is I can literally only go, I don't know, maybe halfway. Maybe a 1 out of 10 is hell no. It just immediately hurts. I'm like shifting my weight over to one leg. My back takes over. I can't really breathe that well. All right, let me get a sense of where this class is at. 6, 5, 3s. Sasha, I need to dump forward. 4s, yeah, 5 out of 10. Mary Phil, ankles feel stuck, 6. Okay, this was great. Great job, everybody. Remember that number. Remember that feeling. We are going to come back to that after our movement routine. So we're just having an honest, objective look. Now, this is where it's going to get really interesting. I want to strip away gravity and see what your body's really capable of. So here's what we're going to do. I'm going to show this against my wall. It'd be great if you can do this against a wall, but if you've got some kind of disability, you could just do this in the middle of the room. So I've got a wall right here, and what I'm going to do is get that butt a couple inches away from the wall, and let me show you the side view. That'll be better. Okay, butt is a couple inches away from the wall, and then I'm going to slowly roll over onto my back. I want to see if you can get into this position. So try this as best as possible. Again, if you don't have a wall, the one thing I want you to notice is I'm pretty close to the wall. I'm in a pretty deep hip position. If you don't have a wall, or that's just too hard for you, you can, of course, try the little modified version. Maybe grab one knee, bring it up, grab the other knee, bring it up. And just stay here for about 10 to 20 seconds with me. Now, don't share in the chat yet. Just stay in this position. Stay with me on this. Can you get into this position? 1 out of 10. How easy, how comfortable? 10 out of 10 is like, yeah, this is smooth. I can bring my knees closer to my hips and my chest. This feels good. I can do this. A 1 out of 10 is like, man, I can't even bring my knees even past 90 degrees. Oh yeah, 10s, 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 10s. Okay, now here's where I typically start to see 2 buckets of people. And I want you to share which bucket you fall under. Bucket number 1, when you're squat on your back, like I'm having you do right now, it feels just the same as it does standing. You're just as tight, you're just as stiff, you're just as imbalanced, you've got the same hip pinch, your back feels the same as when you're standing up squatting. If that's you and you're in bucket 1, that is a sign of real restriction, tight tissues and stuck joints, because you're consistent. Tissue tension doesn't change when you're standing compared to on your back. That tissue is tight. True structural issues like tight tissue are consistent. If a hip can't flex, it can't flex regardless of what position you're in. Maybe a position makes it a little easier, but it's basically going to be the same experience across the board. If it doesn't move, it doesn't move. Now, bucket 2, you can get your knees closer to your chest lying on your back, which means you technically have the range of motion to squat. Maybe not 100% perfect, but if your knees come up smoothly, your hips and knees have the range. You have the motion. But the moment you stand up, your brain says, nope, I don't trust this, and it restricts your body under load. It sends immediate tension and pain signals, just like the bodies did in that study I shared earlier. It's a perception problem, a safety issue. Everybody, bucket 2, bucket 2, bucket 2. Hear me out on this. That, my friends, is the nervous system. Why can you get into the position on the ground? You have the mobility, but then you stand up and it feels terrible. It feels stuck and totally tight. It's more of a control issue than actual true tension issue, because it's not consistent. True tight tissue does not switch up like that unless it's nervous system related. Your nervous system doesn't feel safe, so it pulls you back. Now, you see the difference between both of these groups? One group has range, but no control. They need specific safety recalibration training. The other group, bucket one, lacks range, period, full stop. They need to open up space in their movements to improve range of motion. Now, like I said earlier, it's rare that somebody is just purely one or the other. It's rare, not impossible. Maybe you kind of have some similar tension spots standing up as you did lying down. Like maybe that right hip is still bugging you a little bit. So there's like a little consistency, but it's noticeably different. It feels better. That kind of puts you in both buckets, maybe one bucket more than the other, but still both. And it's because of this spectrum. This is why stretching alone, mobility alone, grit and strength and willpower alone has not been the end all be all for you. Does this make sense so far? Are you starting to understand a little bit more about what's really happening? Now, tonight, I'm going to show you step one in how to start making a difference. My challenge right now is to create a single routine that thousands of people can use to address and help and support both buckets and both groups, or wherever you're at on that spectrum. I'm going to walk you through a series of movements and positions that is going to gently start opening up space for those who are in bucket one with a restriction, and build trust and control for those who are in bucket two. They have motion, but not control and safety. Tonight's routine is a bit of both, but it's not everything. But it's enough to help you start feeling the difference when you recalibrate your body as a system instead of just chasing symptoms and playing whack-a-mole. And if that resonates with you, I'll show you how to keep going with me after. That being said, let's move and get this thing going. Who's ready to move? No more talking. That was like a 35-minute lecture. We didn't think we were going back to school tonight, did we? But we're here and we're doing it. All right. For the start of this routine, I want everybody to, I'm going to be using a chair and a couple pillows. So I'm going to give everybody about a minute to find a spot on the ground. I want there to be enough room to lay out on the floor. And it'd be great if a chair is close by. And for those people who really feel stuck or in pain, it's probably going to be even more comfortable to have some pillows close by as well. So I'm going to put a minute on the clock. Everybody go ahead and scan the room that you're in. Let's get some floor space to lay down, a chair to put our legs on, and some pillows to make this a little more adjustable. Nice. You all are doing great. Thanks for staying with me on that science. It's really hard to change a problem that you don't know or don't understand. What else can we do? Just throw a bunch of random exercises at it. Interesting, Marielle. Bucket two, but feeling so much more stretch when laying on the ground. There's so many different combinations of how you can be bucket one and bucket two. The important thing is to look at how there's different strategies that we can take to help meet you where you're at. That's the key with this stuff. Okay. Oh, Rachel, thanks for saying that. Appreciate it. All right. So that is our minute. We are going to start off with our first exercise. I wish I had a cameraman, but I'm doing this solo tonight. So here's what we're doing. I want everybody to lie on their back, get their butt as close to their chair as possible. And then we're going to slowly roll over until we're lying flat on our back with our legs on this chair. Now, ideally, this is a very simple, easy position to be in. This is alignment. Both hips are aligned, legs are parallel, and upper body is straight. But sometimes ideal feels very uncomfortable, especially if you've normalized, rounding your back and your shoulders and your head. So if straight no longer feels accessible, let's try to meet your body a little bit more where it's at. Maybe we can put a pillow under your head. Maybe if you feel like your legs are like plopping out to the side, maybe you can put a pillow underneath your legs. I want, and this is so crucial, that we try to get comfortable here. Easier said than done for many of you, but let's just try to get comfortable. Step one, square one. I'm going to put 5 minutes on the clock. And this is our first exercise. But it's not an exercise as you might typically know how to exercise. Most people, they just start putting a ton of stress and force in their body. That's cool. And there's a time and a place for that. But if I'm going to show you how to retrain your nervous system, this starts by down regulating it first. Can we take tension out? If this position is going well for you, there's no work here. And your legs are being supported by this chair. Your upper body is being supported by the ground. There is nothing to do here, but take a really big deep breath with me. And a nice, long, slow exhale. Let's send signals to your body that this is actually safe right now. We don't need to be in fight, flight, freeze mode. We've got a roof over our heads. We have time to meet today to do this, which means we've got a little bit of space and time to work on our body and try to relax a little bit. And some of you are going to notice this feels amazing already. And some of you are going to notice, why is it so uncomfortable to not move? Regardless of your experience, just observe what's happening right now. Rest is the opposite side of the same coin as movement. If I'm going to teach you how to move better, we first have to learn how to relax muscle imbalance. And if this hurts, this is showing you we're missing alignment in the spine. Maybe this is the first time in a while both legs and hips have actually been in a balanced position, and that's putting pressure on your tailbone. Maybe the floor is pushing up on your mid-back. Whatever's happening here, if we can, try to just take another deep breath and allow it to happen. Because most of you are going to find, if this is uncomfortable, it actually starts to feel better the longer we stay here. We've got about 2.5 minutes left. If I just put you to work, you'd be using all of the muscles that only you know how to talk to. We'd be just moving through the restriction you already have. And this is why step 1 is to bring it all down to homeostasis and a baseline. Wendy, you say it makes you emotional. Allow that to happen. Some of you might be feeling quite emotional, angry, frustrated, irritable, impatient, happy, tears are coming out. Some of you might have nervous laughter. Just recognize that when you spend time with your body, you get to see what's really there. So take another big deep breath for me, not to change the emotion or to change the pain, but to just be present. And also remind yourself that there's also a lot of good things here too. There's other parts of your body that have never hurt. Maybe it's the air coming in and out of your nose. Maybe it's your earlobes that have never hurt, or your lips, your jaw, whatever it is. Also recognize that pain isn't a part of your whole story. There's a whole other body that's doing amazing things that's here for you as well. And tonight isn't just about change and force. It's also about, like, thank you, body, for doing everything that you've done for me. And thanks for putting up with kind of maybe how I've neglected you for a while. And I'm here to learn how to listen again. 30 seconds left. You're doing great. Nice. Amy, total zen. Chicago girl, can't believe how shaky my thighs are in this position. Interesting. Some of you are going to notice shaking, buzzing, temperature changes, cramps. This is your body just trying to recalibrate. And over time, this will be an SOS position that brings much needed relief because it's always here for you. The ground in a chair is always here to hold you after no matter what day you've had. And maybe your discomfort is because we haven't really allowed support externally. We're just gritting and white knuckling life lately. And that's okay. I'm really good at that strategy too, but it kind of takes a toll. Okay, that's 5 minutes. Honestly, probably some of you might need 15 to 30 minutes in here, and that's okay. But just for the time's sake, we're going to go ahead and move forward with tonight. Yeah, if you're yawning, great. That parasympathetic side of the nervous system starting to show up. Beautiful. All right. So next exercise, scoot further away or, kick that chair. I want enough room to where you can straighten your leg on the ground. All right, now let's get into a little bit of work here. Okay, we're going to start off with our right leg straight on the ground, and notice how the foot's not pointing out, the foot's pointing straight up towards the ceiling. Let's lift our left leg off the ground, interlace your hands together behind your left leg, and from here, we're going to go really slow counterclockwise circles with our left foot. I'm going to put a minute on the clock. Take your time and let's do really slow, big circular motions. What we're doing is quite simple. We're asking the left foot to move again. Those of you who have a left foot that moves well, yeah, this is like, come on, Ben, when are we going to get to the hard stuff? Those of you who have a left ankle that has kind of left the party, maybe years ago, are going to notice it's like jittery. It's not really making a good circle. It's snapping, cracking, popping, and maybe it's actually kind of hard to do this smoothly. Whatever your experience is, just recognize that right now. There's nothing wrong. We're just looking at what's happening with our body. And we're going to change it one day at a time. Now, same foot, we're going to go the opposite direction. Now we're going clockwise circles. Your foot is the only joint that stays on the ground when you squat. So how well your foot moves deeply determines how well you squat. And if you're out there and your shins are on fire and it's a really choppy motion and this is hard for you, we don't really have to look too much further to understand why squatting probably doesn't feel great yet. And if we reverse engineer that, us getting our foot to be a foot again and feeling safe and strong is probably going to go a very long way in your squat changing. Just keep this one circle at a time. You're doing great. The first time I did this, I was already cursing. I didn't realize how neglected an ankle was until I just asked it to move so simply and gently. All right, now let's point and flex. Point the foot, curl the toes down. Pull the foot back, curl the toes back. Point and flex. Back and forth. This is the same forward motion that happens when we squat. If this is exhausting, we can probably understand that this doesn't really happen when you squat. Ankle doesn't move, knee doesn't move. Knee doesn't move, hip doesn't move. Hip doesn't move, we don't squat. Period. We're changing that. And beautiful. Let's go ahead and switch sides. Left leg straight out, foot is pointed straight up in the air. Lift your right leg off the ground. We're going to start off with clockwise circles. Big, slow circles out to the right. And notice, many of you, how this feels different already. Maybe it feels more connected or stronger. Maybe it's more fluid, less crackly. Maybe it's the opposite. It's harder, it's worse, whatever we want to say. Recognize that in order to squat, both sides of the body have to work well together. And if you're already noticing one side's quite different than the other, well, why would a squat feel good? That's what we're going to be here to change tonight. I see the comments blowing up. Yeah. Chris, left foot has been neuropathic for years. This feels strange. I can imagine. Okay, same foot, switch the direction of the rotation. And if you're anything like me, I had to stop every few reps. This was utterly exhausting. No wonder why my back took so long to heal. I had zero support from any other part of my body, and I was just focused on back symptoms. That's why the ankles can sneak away from us for years. And notice how this isn't complicated. We're not doing anything fancy. We're just asking our foot to be a foot again. And I think many of you are noticing, oh, we got a little bit of work here. And that's not a bad thing. It hopefully is okay, I think I kind of now know what to start doing more of. Whereas maybe before, it's like, I don't even know where to start. Start here. Start with me. Okay, now point and flex. Point the foot, curl the toes down. Pull the foot back, pull the toes back. Point and flex. You're doing great. Point and flex. Back and forth. Excellent. About 10 seconds left. I wish I could read comments and teach at the same time. It's okay if you need to listen to your body and take a break. I see the comment section lighten up. Okay, good. That was the right leg. I wonder what your squat's going to feel like when both of those start to feel the same. Now, let's move on to the next exercise. For this next exercise, it would be great if you had a wall to do this. If you don't have a wall, you can just close a door and just do this on the back of a door. But here's how we're going to set this up. I'm going to lie on the ground and I'm going to scoot probably 2 feet away from the wall. So give yourself a little bit of room. Now lay on my back and roll over, both feet flat on the wall. If I did this well, my hips are at 90 degrees, my knees are at 90 degrees. This is a nice 90-90 position. I'm going to give everybody about 30 seconds to meet me here. Nice, Eleanor. Thanks for coming here. I love that. All right, so we're starting off in a 90-90 position, both feet straight. If I'm looking at you straight down, the knees and ankles are hip width apart. So we're not super wide, we're nice and parallel. From here, both knees are going to touch together, little baby bit of internal rotation, and then both knees are going to move away from each other. And as my knees move away, I'm just like a door hinge. I'm rolling onto the outer edge of my foot, nice and slow, and then bringing the knees back together to meet in the middle. Internal, external rotation. I'm going to put 4 minutes on the clock, and notice how this is now asking a hip to be a hip again. And if my hips can move well, my feet can just roll to the outer edge. If my hip doesn't move well, I'm going to try to get my ankles involved. I'm going to try to twist my knee. I'm going to twist my foot, because that's what compensation is. Something not working, so other things have to work abnormally. Go slow, slow enough to feel how when you roll out, the feet stay pointed straight up, and then slowly come back together. Notice how we're not going like crazy fast. Take your time. Ask both hips to start working together. Notice how they both externally rotate, and then how they come in to touch in the middle. Some of you might feel this in one hip, one shin, one arch. You're going to feel wherever you need to feel it to start balancing the whole. Someone asked what I'm drinking. Lemon and ginger. Keeps me sharp in these workshops for you. Yeah, Toes cramping, Christine. Hip flexors inside of hips hurt, Kim. Maybe scoot back just a little bit more. Now, we have so many people here, and I bet so many people are feeling this in different ways. Take a deep breath. We're asking your hips to be hips again. It makes sense if you're feeling this in so many different ways, because when your hips stop moving well, you shift that work to your lower back or to a foot or to a hip. It's called motor recruitment patterns. And we start recruiting whatever muscle we can grab a hold of frantically just to keep moving. So this is not about doing this right today. This is about us being very direct with, hey, hips, we're going to rotate together. And let's notice what's happening. Some people, Pamela, left psoas always painful. See if you can go slower with half of the range of motion. Some of you only know how to push yourself to the edge of pain and a little bit beyond. What if this exercise is here to teach you to go half of what you think you can do? Half intensity. The goal is to not run into pain with every rep. That might be your experience. The goal is, can we take a deep breath? There's nothing mechanically complicated here. We're asking our hips to move the way they were designed to move. Hey, muscles, chill out. Let's make this a little bit easier. Let me relax my face. Let me take a deep breath. Hey, lower back, what are you doing here, man? This is a hip exercise. No wonder why my back's always tight. It's trying to do everything for my hips. Can we be direct and simple again with our body? No tricks, no complicated, expensive stuff here. Direct and simple. Okay, that was 4 minutes. We're going to take this up a notch. Please listen to your body. So if I'm all of you, I'm 90 degrees at the hips and the knees. Now what I'm going to do is roll over to my side. I'm going to scoot a little closer to the wall. If I'm really mobile, remember, if you've got that nervous system opening, you're pretty mobile. You can probably get your hips all the way to the wall. If you're super tight, maybe you can only get your hips a couple inches closer to the wall. But either way, we're going to get as close to the wall as we can, and then roll over onto our back again with the bottoms of our feet touching. If your pelvis is lifting off the ground, you've exceeded your mobility. Scoot back a little further until you can feel your pelvis rest on the ground. Again, the two different buckets of people are going to have two different experiences. Bucket one, we probably can't even get close to the wall. This position alone is going to challenge you. Bucket number two, we can probably find, yeah, we got some good range. This might actually feel quite sensational. Maybe a little stretch, maybe a little work. Either way, either bucket, big deep breath. We're going to be here for 1 minute. There is nothing your face has to do, your jaw, your lower back, or your abs or shoulders. Maybe hands go behind your head. Stretch out that tight chest of yours. Open up your mid-back. Maybe arms down here. Whatever's comfortable. Find your peace as best as possible in this position. And just be mindful, this isn't about getting our heels to our inner hips. It's not about feet being high up. So try to find like that halfway range. Ideally, over time, this will feel very, very accessible and very simple. Hopefully, like nothing's really going on because we've got the function. Now, this is where this gets a little bit more spot specific and challenging. Keeping your left leg exactly where it is, slowly straighten your right leg up the wall. Again, if your pelvis comes off the ground, we're way too close. I want your right leg up the wall. Tighten your right quad. Let me move this up a little higher. and pull your right foot down. We're going to be here for 1 minute. Now, some of you are probably so tight that maybe we've rolled over to our left pelvis. Try to keep your pelvis on the ground in the center with one leg straight up the wall. If you're super mobile, you're going to have the mobility. But this is why I'm asking you to make this active. We're not just tugging tight muscles like bucket number 1. We are trying to go after stability. So right quad tight, right foot pulled down. Talk to the muscles and show them that this range of motion is safe. Some of you are going to notice a lot of vibrating, a lot of shaking. That's the nervous system not knowing, do we let go of the hamstring yet? We probably could, but should we? Breathe and hold this position. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Good. Bring the right foot back to meet the left. Take a deep breath. Find your ground and center again. And then we're going to try the left side. Same thing. Left leg goes up the wall. Might be a totally different experience for you. Left quad tight, so thighs tight. Pull the toes back down towards you. 1 minute. You're doing great. Those people in bucket 1, this is going to be significantly sensational. We are trying to create space where there might not be any. So if you're gritting your face and furrowing your eyebrows, we're just meeting tension with tension. Take a deep breath, relax your face, and allow your body to melt into this. If you're barreling through this white knuckle experience, you're just too close. Scoot back a little bit. That's okay. We're just meeting our body where it's at. Quad tight, left foot pulled back. 10 seconds. You're doing great. 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Okay, let's slowly roll over to our sides again. I'm going to offer two exercises for this next crowd. I want you to choose just whichever one you think will feel better. The first option is just the hands and knees. We're just doing some really gentle pelvic and spinal tilts right now. If pressure on your knees or your wrists feels really uncomfortable, you can always just do a modified lying on your back, just slowly tilting your pelvis forward and tilting your pelvis backwards. I'm going to do the on hands and knees version if you want to join me for that. So let's all meet into a tabletop position. Hands right below shoulders, knees right below hips. And we're going to start off moving our pelvis first. So tip your pelvis forward. Your lower back is going to gently arch. Shoulders come back together and look forward. And then we're going to do the opposite. Starting off with your pelvis. Roll your pelvis back. Round your spine in like a wave of energy. Shoulders relax and separate. And then do the opposite. Roll that pelvis forward. We're breathing nice and slow. We're very supported. We're showing our body that our pelvis can move and our spine can move. And we're just being really controlled and aware of how that happens. We're not trying to push through anything uncomfortable. We're just tilting and moving. About maybe another 30 seconds of this. Breathe and move. Big breath in. Big breath out to reconnect with your body. Okay, great. Now, we've done a little bit of a neurological warm-up. So now's where we're going to get into a little bit more activation and strength. I'm going to offer 2 exercises. What I'd like you to do is to choose the one that you feel like is going to challenge you the most. We're going to start off with the harder exercise first. This is going to be a wall sit. So maybe you need to put shoes on. So this is definitely harder. If you feel like you've got good knees and you've got a little bit of good leg strength, let's put it to the test. Let's really tap in and show your body how strong you are. This is what the exercise is going to look like. And if you feel capable and ready and willing to push yourself, I want those of you who are, stand up against the wall, both feet straight. We're not doing this wide. If your knees don't feel great, I'll show you an alternative. And we're slowly going to step forward and slowly come down. I don't care how low you go. Doesn't matter if we're only bending a couple inches or you've got some serious strength and you want to try hips to parallel. I don't care how high you are. What I care about is you relaxing your upper body, taking a really big deep breath and putting weight into your heels. So for those of you who want the big challenge of tonight, I want you to do this position and get into it starting now. For those of you who feel like the knees just don't want to do something that challenging, you're going to join me in a standing squat position. Now to do this, we're going to start off standing up with both feet pointing forwards. We're going to take a second to shift our body weight forward so there's pressure in the front of the foot, and then shift backwards so there's pressure in the heel. Do this a couple times, forwards and backwards. I want you to feel how you have an entire foot. Under no point do I want you to fall back or lean forward. Keep your weight right in the middle of the foot. From here, arms forward, and I don't care. Give me a soft bend. It doesn't need to be much. I don't care about range of motion. If you're feeling a little bit stronger, we can go a little lower. You can try to challenge yourself and bring yourself close to depth, to parallel. If you want a little bit more of a challenge, go a little lower. Don't care about your depth. What I care about is you taking a big, deep breath and staying with me on this. We are not moving. We are doing an isometric exercise, which is strengthening how the nerves and the muscles communicate. It can elevate blood pressure a little bit, so make sure you're breathing. Take a really big deep breath. Remind your body that it's strong and we can be calm. This feeling and sensation is weakness leaving the body. We've got 10 seconds left. Everybody take a big deep breath with me. Breathe in and out. Okay, slowly stand up. Now, that was the end of part 1. We are now going to do 3 more exercises together 2 times. This is to address both buckets of people. So let's go a little slow together. Again, I don't care about range of motion. This is day 1. And if you feel like that was hard and you need to take a break, then go ahead and take a break. So for those of you who want to keep going and are feeling like, okay, I'm getting my body a little bit more warmed up, let me give you a little more. Standing up with both feet a little wider and feet pointing out. I don't care how you do it. Bend as comfortably as you can to get your hands to the ground. Maybe if that's too much, you can even put like a pillow higher to raise the ground. From here, I'm going to put 1 minute on the clock. And we're going to come down nice and slow. Don't care how low you go. If you've got the range of motion, we can come all the way down. Keeping your hands down, come back up. Some of you, it's just a couple inches. I'm okay with that. That's okay today. Lower the hips, feel the knees and ankles work together, and then go a little higher. If you can go straight legs, awesome. But it's not needed. Breathe and move. Relax your head, relax your shoulders, breathe, and move. This might feel like a workout already. Breathe and move. Breathe and move. You're doing great. 10 seconds left. We are showing our nerves and our muscles that we can do an exercise like this. Great. Stand up any way you can. Exercise number 2. Good job with that. Okay. Exercise number 2. I'm going to stand up right in front of a wall. I'm just going to use this little outside corner. And ideally, I can put my foot on the wall like this. If you just don't have ankle range of motion, maybe it's due to chronic sprains or a long-seated history of stuff, you can just put your foot rested on a couple of books. So either put the front of your foot on a couple books or put your foot propped up on a wall like this. With your back foot straight, hold onto the wall. This should not be a balance exercise. I want you to be stable and safe. Slowly press off your back leg to come forward. Feel a big stretch and then come out. Rock forward and backward. Forward and back. You're doing great. Forward and backward. Might not be a lot of motion, and that's okay. We're breathing and we're going just as much as we can control. Forward and backward. We're showing all this tissue in the ankle and the arch and the toes and the calf and the back of the knee, the point of origin, that I can start to relax a little bit. 10 seconds left. Might even be a little workout on this back foot. That's great too. 5, 4, 3, 2, and switch. Other side. Ideally, the foot is just as high up, but maybe one side you can't even do that. So one side we actually have to use books for that. That's okay. Just meet your body where it's at. Something is better than nothing. Left foot on the wall, and 1 minute. Forward, rock back. Press off the back leg, rock forward and back. Nice and slow. Notice how I'm not doing any jerking motion. I keep asking you to breathe because this can be quite sensational. And what we're trying to do is show the brain that we're choosing this and we're breathing into it. And we're not coming up to our edge every rep. We're trying to find, how can I move in the simplest way as possible right now? 20 seconds. One side's probably going to be a lot tighter than the other. And I needed this today, so I'm glad we're doing it. 10 seconds. 5, 4, 3, 2, and relax. Okay, one more exercise, and then we're going to repeat that entire little series. For this last exercise, standing up, both feet pointing forwards. I don't care how you get down to the ground, bend your knees. Maybe you have an object in front to raise the height of the ground. It doesn't matter to me. Bend towards the ground, relax your upper body. We are just going to straighten the left leg a little bit and then bend it. Then we're going to straighten the right leg a little bit and bend it. Left leg, right leg. Breathe and move. Notice how I'm not trying to shift my whole body. I'm just trying to stay really narrow and central. Right leg can work. Left leg can work. Right leg, left leg. Take a deep breath. It makes sense why your squat doesn't feel good if all of these muscles are out of control and feel overwhelming. So we're trying to slowly knock on this door today and say, hey, you can do this. These muscles can have sensation in them. They can work. I might have a lot of restriction and tension to work through, but that's what we're doing tonight. This is how you start. 5, 4, 3, 2. Now widen your feet a little bit. Keep your hands on the ground. And second set for those who want to join me. You can lower your hips as far as you can control and then stand up. I'm sorry, straighten your legs. Lower only as far as you can control. Again, I don't care if you're just doing an inch of movement. Everybody's got to start somewhere. lower, and raise. Take a break if you need to. Only you know where your body's at today. I'm going to show you the path, and it's up to you just today to start dosing it right. And because I only have 90 minutes with you, I'm going to give you a lot. And maybe you're tapping out after the first exercise today. That's okay. You're probably a lot like where I was starting out, which is a little bit felt like a lot. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Slowly come up. We're going to come to our wall again. Right foot propped up. 1 minute, rocking backward and forwards. Notice if the second set feels a little bit more available. Nice, Sherry, calves are on fire. Yeah. Keep it moving. Notice how I'm not saying tighten your core, brace this, hinge from the hip. We are trying to relax the movement patterns. This isn't about being precise with form and moving through areas that we don't know how to move. This is about starting off with what movement we have and doing these in supportive ways and starting to get the body to trust that it can move again. 10 seconds left. Yeah, hamstrings. I know you're all feeling it. We're here to improve our squats, which means we're going right after the heart of the problem. Okay, great. Now, left foot on the wall or propped up on the books like I showed you. And we're now rocking forward with the left leg. We're almost done, everybody. You're doing great. And then we're going to retest and talk about what happened and why. Forward, backward. Notice if the second set just feels 1% better. Not easier, but maybe a little bit 1% more connected. Muscles are coming back online. Range of motion is improving just a little bit. 30 seconds left. 15. 10. A lot of work for such a simple exercise, huh? 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Okay, last exercise. You're doing great. Anybody who's with me, I'm really proud of you, even if you're just still sticking with us and not moving and you've taken a break. Feet pointing forwards. Get down to the ground any way you can. Maybe you notice it's already a little easier. Straighten your left leg a little bit. Bend it. Straighten your right leg a little bit. Bend it. Relax the head and neck. 1 minute of movement. Right leg, left leg. Right leg, left leg. Come down as low as you want and as high as you want. Key, I'm down. Hit me up on Instagram. I'd love that. I'll go surfing with you. Haven't been out there since I broke my back, so that'll be interesting. All right, we've got 15 seconds left. Doing great. Keep breathing. It's slow. It's not easy. We're reawakening the system. 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Okay, everybody stand up. All right. Now, as we're standing here, what I want you to try is the same thing we did about 40 minutes ago. Hands forward, take a deep breath, and what does it feel like to squat? Take a moment and just tap in to what's happening. Breathe. Did balance change? Did range of motion change? Did your comfort? Did your speed change? Nice, nice. Kathy, I can squat deeper. Miss Sam's, my poor knees. Karen, oh my God, easier. Christine, easier. We're going to talk about all of these different options. Kate, I feel more sturdy. Patty, oh wow, I can squat. Georgette, easier. Oh my God, that was effing amazing. Elizabeth, welcome back. Paul, 100% from my Wyoming. Cool. Deeper, but knees popped. Way easier for Miriam. A bit easier, smoother. And check in really quick. How do you feel mentally and emotionally actually getting back inside your body? Do you feel a little bit more calm, a little bit less stress? Lynn, more fluid. Debbie, lower and more stable. Wow, amazing, Patricia. Heart of Bliss Yoga, deeper, better. Oh my gosh. Holly, not deeper, but safer. Beautiful. Catherine could squat lower and was more comfortable, even though I tapped out after the first round. I love that you listened and there was a change. Miri, a little lower, but front of ankle stuck. Okay, that's fair. Marigold, easier, better, easier, deeper, better, lower, more stable, less stiff. Okay, so here's what's important to understand. After a routine, like we just did, one of three things usually happens, and all of them are valid. Response number one, you feel better. If you feel better, that means your body responded really well to the input that we gave it. That is a huge win. Your nervous system accepted the changes, muscles started communicating better, and your joints are moving more efficiently. This is the work I do every day with people inside of my program. If this is what happens after one session, imagine what happens when we build on it. Welcome to Pain Academy. I'm so glad you're here. Response number two, you feel the same. And if you feel no different, please, please do not write this off. Some people just need more time to process change, especially if you've been living with dysfunction for a long time. Healing is not always immediate. Your body might need repetition before old rigid patterns soften and newer, more fluid movement takes time to shape. And that's okay. Small changes often stack in the background before they become noticeable. For you, maybe the changes will be registered more on a weekly or a monthly level than just day one, night one. Response number three, you feel worse. And this is the one that confuses most people because we just did movement, right? We should be feeling better. Worse doesn't mean the wrong thing happened. It usually means the right things are being challenged when we're having a structured approach, right? We didn't just go load 200 pounds on a squat rack. We didn't just go run a mile for a sprint time. We just asked nerves and muscles and joints to start moving. And if there's an adverse response, what it feels like that, we have to navigate this with a little bit more strategy and softness. And sometimes it's your body, especially if your body's been compensating for years, waking up sleepy muscles and stiff joints can absolutely stir stuff up. Think of it like being sore after hitting the gym for the first time in a while. Your body isn't punishing you, it's responding. And if your nervous system is stuck on high alert, new movement can feel uncomfortable at first because chances are you've spent so much time in pain, you've linked movement and pain really strongly in the brain. You're really good at feeling pain, like I was. Hyper vigilant, hyper fixated, always, how's my back? How's my back? What's happening with my back? And like that study showed, unlearning that is going to be a big part of this recalibration process. But you feeling worse is not failure. That's the start of retraining. That is the work. Watch what happens in a week or two from now. What we did today was the beginning. And the beauty of this approach is you're not relying on anyone else to fix you. You're learning how to use movement strategically and intentionally to rebuild your body from the ground up. So if you're wondering why you felt the way you did, whether it was better, worse, or the same, no change at all, let me pull back the curtain a little bit. Because whatever your body told you tonight, it's not a pass-fail test. The biggest mistake we can make right now is make this a pass or fail test. It's feedback. Your body is speaking. The work now and moving forward is to listen and give your body more of what it needs. This was not a random series of grab bag exercises and stretches. It was deliberately designed for recalibration. Step one, we took load off the nervous system and then reintroduced stimulus strategically. Step two, we repositioned your joints so the muscles can work more efficiently. Step three, we woke up muscles that have been on standby for probably years. And most importantly, step four, we showed your brain that we can start to move in supportive ways again. That doesn't mean it was easy, but it means that we can it's like training wheels. We can actually start to do this. And for a lot of people, this structure is the missing link. They've been trying to fight their bodies or throwing random exercise at it. So if you felt a shift tonight, it wasn't a fluke. It was a response. And we can keep building from here. I want to take you back really quick to the first time I tried this kind of movement therapy. I was defeated physically, emotionally, and mentally, absolutely financially. I was convinced that I tried everything. So when I did something like this, simple movements, I thought, there's no way this will work. It felt too basic. Where are the expensive machines? Where are the injections? Where's the person coming in to save me and fix my problem for me? But yet I, like many of you, stood up and felt 5% better. Not healed, not fixed, but better. And for the first time in years, I realized that a change came. Nobody touched me, no needles, no machines, no drugs, just me and my body. And that moment changed everything for me. For the first time in years, I felt equal parts of hope and empowerment, and also really pissed off, a lot of frustration. Why was this never shown to me in the tens of thousands of dollars I spent? Why did no expert teach me how to move again and hold my hand through what I feel and guide me step by step? And that day that I first felt what you all felt, I made it my mission from that day forward to bring this information to the masses because the world needs it and because you deserve it. And that's why I created the Movement Program, which is my fully guided online program that helps people just like you and me rebuild trust in your body, improve movement, and relax this long-held tension and imbalances step by step. And if today even made a small difference for you, if you felt something shift, even a little, that is your body saying there's something here and it's ready for more support. And if you're curious where that could lead, then I would love to invite you to explore the full program of mine, completely free for the first 7 days. No pressure, no commitment, literally just a chance to step inside and see what this kind of training can do for you, kind of like what you did tonight. You're going to get, if you do take me up on the trial offer, you get full access to daily guidance, and you can start walking the same path that I've used to help myself and thousands of other people move better and feel more at home in their body. And don't take my word for it. Check out the thousands of written testimonials that people have shared about this program. Andrew, can you put up the link for the testimonials in case people want to check out what people are saying? And as a bonus, as a special offer for this group, for doing this challenge with me, I'm going to sweeten this deal a little bit more and throw in 30 days of free group coaching with me. Group coaching inside this program is every week I host a special workshop for members only. I spend 60 to 90 minutes with you, like kind of where we did with a deep dive in a specific narrow topic that you vote on each week. So whatever is more meaningful for you. This group coaching is like the icing on the cake of what I think is already a phenomenal program. And you get a full month of that at no extra cost on me. Because if you've made it this far in this challenge, if you haven't hit the back button yet, we are cut from the same cloth. So back to the main program. Tonight, we all did the same thing. But inside the movement program, no two journeys are going to look the same because your body is unique and your healing should be too. And this course that I have is going to adapt over time to what helps you move and feel your best. This is what muscle recalibration therapy is. It's not just another set of random library exercises. It's a step-by-step path that teaches your body how to let go of pain, restore balance, and rebuild trust in movement at your own pace in your own home. And I got to start where you're at. We got to start building from there. Patty, I absolutely love your program. It's wonderful. The app is user-friendly. My back feels so much better. Kim, I'm in the program and it's so good. I feel positive changes every week. Take Vinny up on the offer. For everybody who's in the program right now, who showed up tonight and is giving a vote of confidence for people who are not in it, I love you all and thank you. You all are amazing. I appreciate it. And I think it speaks volume, you showing up and being a lighthouse for other people who are on the outside. And I hope they listen to your words because they can make the same changes you have. Melissa, thanks for this. Vinny, we asked for it and you provided. Oh yeah. Home run. That wasn't a home run. That was a field goal. All right. We're not a sports guy and that's okay. Pippin, I'm 7 months into the program and don't regret it one bit. Progress is gradual, but real and actually feels sustainable. Full stop. Beautiful. Oh my God. All these members are here tonight. Dusanka, I'm in the program too, and I love it. It's made a huge change in my life. Bible Bites. I really wondered why you chose to teach the squat. Really puzzled, but it worked. Yeah, it's a great question. So I've had challenges like this in the past where I've done better back challenge for people with chronic back pain, low back, mid back, or neck. And I've also done challenges that focus exclusively on the hip. And so I wanted to make a challenge not about pain, but about a movement pattern, because not everybody relates to hip pain. Not everybody relates to back pain, but I think we all, by a show of hands, know what it feels like to bend over and grab something and do a squat movement pattern. That is a universal thing that I think if we're living even remotely a lifestyle of movement, we are all running into the functional limitations of what happens when you ask a body with restrictions and nervous system dysregulation to squat. So I figured it'd probably be the most relatable doorway into this method for people who just want to squat better. So, this program is my life's work, and it's about giving the body the environment it needs to heal. And sometimes it just takes an honest week of the right kind of support or a challenge like this to feel the difference in how capable you really are at changing. So you can know that this is it. I had my tech guy, Andrew. He's amazing. He's going to support you in the program too. He sent you a link to the sign up page if you want to check it out. So why don't we take the next, even though we just hit the 90 minutes, I know some of you might have questions. Maybe I can stick around and answer some of them. Let's open up a live Q&A. Lastly, while you type in your questions, I hope today gave you more than just relief. I hope it gave you a little bit of hope, because pain and limitation are not the end of your story. You're not fragile. You're adapting. And with consistency and guidance, the body does change. And until then, thank you all for showing up. I would love to help those of you who are ready and willing to make a change. And I just realized 93 minutes into this, I forgot the whole YouTube thing. So like and subscribe, leave a comment, share this with a friend. It all helps this video get seen and could make a huge difference in somebody else's life. So whether you end up going with the program or not, I'd love it if you could leave a comment or like it and share this. Let's see. Joan, great question. What is a proper way to perform a squat? Technically, this is where we can get into a lot of variation, because even though we all have a lot in common, 2 ankles, 2 knees, 2 hips, a pelvis, and a spine, there's a general way to squat, which is about keeping equal weight between the front and the back of the foot. But there's also anatomical variations. There's differences in pelvic and femur insertions between men and women. There's leg length differences. There's how the head of the hip inserts into the pelvis differences. So there's no one ideal way to squat, but ideally, when we have function, we can perform different ways to squat. So for example, maybe, it'd be great if in the bottom of a squat, we have options. We can squat with our feet and our knees straight. We can also go out. We can go in. We have options to move because the body is not this like rigid thing that can only move one way and only one way. So when the body works really well, we should have all this variation to squat, whether it's knees out, feet forward, whatever it is, one leg in front of the other, turning around, it doesn't matter. We have the motion for it. Where we can start to get into a trap, and I probably know what a lot of you are thinking because I was there too, my body's not built like that. Now, I was told I've got long femurs, I've got long legs, my hips aren't designed for that. Maybe that's true. I couldn't possibly refute that or dispute it because I don't know you. I haven't seen you. I've not studied your biomechanics. But what I have learned is working with so many different people over so many years is people will default to what they can't do and blame it on their anatomy, which is in a weird way almost making an argument for you having full access to all of your nerves and muscles, and your joints have full range of motion. What most people are going to notice is that they're running into a wall. It feels like their bones and their joints can't move, not because of their anatomy, but because of their physiology. The body literally does not have a capacity to move it, not because you're at 100% of your functional limit, right? Which we would only know if we did really specific style of training for a long time. But it's because you just can't move into ranges of motion you don't spend time in, or you don't spend time opening and developing. Now, somebody said, I've got great mobility. I appreciate you saying that. And what I'm so proud of is I sure as hell wasn't born like that. My life-changing injury did not help any of that. So, it's not like I was a gymnast who could do the splits and squats and have just had that since a kid. I remember even as a swimmer, like before I broke my back, it feeling stiff and tight, just reaching down to bend forward to the blocks. And I could only do it with my right leg forward, like a track start. No way could I bend forward with my left leg. So if I'm being very honest, my movement problems did not start when I broke my back. That sure as hell amplified it. My problems were like developmental, my adaptation to sports. And so what I love about my story, and I hope you can start to really pick up on, is like the amount of amazing change there is in the body. Your body is highly adaptable and capable. The more it moves and the right training that we do, the better it moves. The less your body moves, the less it can move. And, I come from this hardly being able to bend forward without this knife stabbing pain that I lived almost a decade of my life into not only becoming an ultra marathon runner, but moving the way you just saw. So like being capable of running 50 plus miles and also having movement and fluidity. The body's amazing when you give it the stimulus, when you learn how to listen, and every day you show up. And what you're seeing now is the end result of about 10 years of hard work. It's been about 16 years since my injury. The first 5 years I was doing drugs from prescriptions and terrible BS exercises, starting and stopping, quitting, sabotaging my progress. I was the king of that. I was a king of giving up and having weird, random expectations of how things should go. And over the past 10 years, I've really dialed in what needs to happen. And so you're seeing the end result of a good decade's worth of focus work. Beth, great question. How did you figure out how to build the program? So what I shared earlier was I went to school. I learned the academics behind all of this, but a lot of that stuff didn't apply to real world stuff. Like, it sounds nice in textbooks of do this with this problem or do this with that problem. But when I got out into the real world and applied these methods, a lot of it showed me what not to do and how things don't work. And so I started turning my own body into my lab, and I started to see what kind of started to move the needle and how to navigate pain and restriction. And once I started to kind of find this pattern of what the body needed, I started to work with other people because I felt called to help others who were struggling with the same things I was. And I started to get better, and they started to get better. And probably about 8 or 9 years ago, this program went live online. And I started seeing how people were moving through it and what worked well, and also what didn't, where users were getting stuck. And I refined it. And I found some amazing guys in the tech space. One of them is for sure on this call tonight. You see him as Pain Academy Tech. His name's Andrew. I found these phenomenal builders who understood my vision and understood my passion, and they too have had issues with their body. They're deeply connected to this work, and I put my real world know-how and their online technological capabilities, and we mashed all this stuff together to deliver this world-class program that adapts to your needs based on the programs and the structures that I've given people in real world scenarios, and then seeing how literally thousands of people's feedback, must be over 14,000 people to date, have gone through this program. And we're tracking all their progress, what's working, which routines are good for these issues, which routines aren't. How do you build a structure of a schedule based on stiffness or based on nervous system dysregulation, whatever it is. Pearl, this program is great for all levels. Thanks for answering Mama Moon's question. Really good question, Mama Moon. Love the name, by the way. For those of us who don't have major pain and pretty good mobility, would this program work for refinement? Absolutely. Though I've built this from a place of chronic pain and restriction, ultimately this program's about function. And if you've already got a great baseline of function, you're probably going to accelerate pretty quick because I don't have to guide you through changing your relationship to pain. I don't have to teach you how to downregulate through flare-ups. I don't have to teach you how to use intensity with a lot of sensitivity. I don't have to teach you how the discipline and how to pull back. I mean, all the things that happen when people are in pain and the dysregulation that happens from that, the fear that comes from movement when you spend such a long time in pain. We don't have to work through all those extra roadblocks. So please, yeah, do it. Tanya, is your program safe to do if you have osteoporosis? Tanya, if you look up any just basic, not even well-informed, but just like basic osteoporosis website on treatment options, and even coming from the Mayo Clinic, all ranges from great to not, what you're going to find is that one of the best treatments for osteoporosis, even other conditions like rheumatoid arthritis or osteoarthritis, is an exercise regimen. It's a program. It's something to get your body moving. That's low weight bearing. So we're not doing plyometrics. We're not doing a bunch of jumps, jumping jacks. We're not doing explosive sprint training. This is a program to reconnect with movement. And maybe not every exercise is accessible. Maybe you don't like certain positions or twists or movement. Maybe you had that experience tonight. Some were just like, no, I don't like that one. Well, cool. Let's find modifications. Let's find substitutions for what you don't like doing. And I think if you can bring yourself to the ground as consistently as possible, spend time working with your body like this, more joints, more muscles working, more control, more safety, we might find that you actually have more support inside your body on an internal level than you've had in a long time. I hope that answers it. Nice. Luis, oh my, I went from a 2 to an 8. Math majors, what's that, like a 400% increase? That's amazing. It's incredible. Thanks for sharing. Beth, do you work on the mind or just the body? I 100% believe that 90% of my pain is not structural. Do you help us to figure out how to tell our brain that we're okay? Beth, I'm so glad that you asked that. The answer is a resounding yes. Remember what I said at the start, which is there's a spectrum of movement. On one end of the spectrum is structural issues, like me fresh after breaking my back. And then on the other end, it's neuroplastic based, it's mindset, it's nervous system regulation. Everybody falls on the spectrum somewhere. And if I'm going to help you with the highest chance of success as possible, I've got to give you both the physical, biomechanical stuff like we did tonight, and I have to give you the nervous system mindset training stuff too. That is my only way of giving you the highest chance of true, deep, lasting change. I created a 31-day for the mindset stuff. Let's specifically speak to that. I created with a psychologist who her whole thesis was on pain, a brilliant woman. She was actually a member in the program, helped me write this course. It is a 31-day mindset program on how to do somatic tracking, which in another way, it's going to give you tools on how to downregulate and cope with stress. It's going to give you a framework of how to begin changing this internal process of how you actually process pain. Linda, the 31-day program is fantastic. Thanks for showing up and being here to share that. I can tell you got a lot from it. One thing that's been studied heavily, and I wish I could easily share my screen with you, is, oh, wait, maybe I can. Hold on. I can share my screen. Hang tight really quick. This could get really cool for those of you who are still with me. Give me a minute. Ah, yes. Okay. Check this. Hold on. Are we on Google Chrome? Yeah, we are. All right. Give me a sec. How do I do this? We're figuring it out. Okay. Cool. Can everybody see? All right. So this is one of the reasons why nervous system regulation and mindset work is so crucial. These are overlaid compilation of, so layered images stacked, thousands of fMRIs. So we're talking brain scans here. On the left is what a healthy brain looks like that experiences acute pain. We see certain sensory areas, the ones that are designated to feeling and processing pain, light up when a true actual injury, like I break a bone, sprain an ankle, or break my back. What we see on the right is a region of the brain that lights up when somebody feels pain who experiences chronic pain. And what we notice about these two different fMRI images is these two regions of the brain are entirely different. The person who has been exposed to chronic pain, we're talking anywhere outside of more than a few weeks or a few months. And I know for many of you, myself included, it was at least half a decade. You start to process pain more in areas like the nucleus accumbens and the prefrontal medial cortex. These are the regions of the brain that are tied to threat and reward, learning, meaning, and memory, which means that instead of pain being actually produced or actually felt coming from the body, pain is being produced in chronic pain people. Now, let me see if there's any more that I can share with you on. Yeah, here's another example. This comes from a study where they tracked how pain was being processed, the regions of the brain that were lighting up at 12 weeks in an experimental mindset therapy program designed to downregulate the nervous system. And as we can see, at 19, 41, 67 weeks, the areas of the brain are less active. I think the insula shows a huge deactivation. Well, what this means is that one of the best ways to treat chronic pain is not actually just hammering at the body, but it's to make movement feel safe again. It's actually teaching the brain how to cope and reprocess pain. I want to see how deep I want to go off into this because I've just given hours of workshops on this. Yeah, Pam, this is fascinating. What in the world has happened to our medical professionals? Why is this not common knowledge? The hard thing is I always try to give people the benefit of the doubt. Obviously, people in the medical field, I think that they care and they help people, but we have to be honest, everybody. Um, they're limited. They're limited in their ability to help. How many doctor's appointments go over 15 minutes? And how many patients do they have to see a day? How many other people are they tending to in a hospital? Who's sitting down with you for an hour and a half to hold your hand through this information? It's not common. And so when you're running into these issues, um, the easiest way to treat this stuff is just drugs. And it's just, yeah, even though this is known, guys, this is not new information. Look at this. Um, this alone, this study is from this is 12 years old. These studies are not new. 2015, 2019, so somewhat recently known. 2006, we've started to understand this. 1993 is when we started to understand that different areas of the brain get wired to speak to each other differently. Imagine, hear me out on this. Imagine you go into a doctor for pain, like let's say back pain, and they take a scan of your brain. How annoying is that? But what studies are showing is that regardless of injury, regardless of the area of injury and the severity of injury, with an 85% accuracy, I'm going to say that again, with an 85% accuracy, just by looking at how your brain lights up, researchers and scientists can predict who is going to be in chronic pain, who is going to develop chronic pain. They're not even looking at the scans of the injury. And with an 85% accuracy, they know this brain is going to be fixated on pain. And this brain is going to heal. And this brain is going to be stuck. And this brain is going to ruminate. And this brain is going to become so hypervigilant and so obsessive over trying to fix pain because you're making meaning of it. You're getting rewarded for feeling pain. And the hard part, and might be a can of worms, and I'm going to be vulnerable in sharing this. The hard part in people who experience chronic pain, and this is where I had to have a hard look in the mirror, was understanding that its use. It's actually very useful. And there is an addiction, there is an association, and there's an attachment that many of us have to pain. Now, what I'm not saying is that you want it. What I'm not saying is that you deserve it. But what I am saying is that when pain starts to learn how to be processed in the nucleus accumbens, which is more so dealing with threat and reward, what do you think happens when you might be a lonely person and you realize that, oh, when I share I'm in pain, people pay attention to me? What do you think happens when, I'm a single dad and, oh man, some days, guys, I just need a break. And as a, former child who grew up in a household with a parent with a very severe addiction, you don't really learn how to set boundaries in healthy ways. You don't learn that your pain matters and that your voice matters. And so, I, as an adult, I didn't even know what a boundary was until I was 28 years old. But guess what set a boundary for me? My back pain. Hey, family. Hey, guys. Sorry, I can't hang out today. My back hurts. If I was overwhelmed or overloaded from work, my back pain got me out of it. And I was a failure of an athlete. I had all these records. I never made it to the Olympics. And one reason why I didn't really have to work out and face that failure that I had was back pain. Cool. It gave me an excuse to eat like crap. Gave me an excuse to sleep in and not wake up at 4 a.m. and go to a pool. Gave me an excuse to never swim again, something that I had a really bad relationship with. And so, I'm not saying this is true for everybody, but when you really start to understand neurology and biomechanics and exercise physiology, you start to see, wait a second, what's going on here? There's a huge not just correlation, but a causation of how things are really related in your life. Um, those of you who have been through childhood adversity and you never learned how to regulate your nervous system, and you start making mistakes like intimacy. Intimacy is a beautiful thing. It's a sacred thing when shared with somebody, and it can deepen a bond, it can deepen love, and it can deepen a relationship. We are wired to love intimacy. But when you go through traumatic events, we start to maybe learn that intimacy is not safe. It's scary, it's bad, it's dangerous. And when our brain can start making meaning of something that could be good, but labels it as dangerous based on what we've been through, if that's what our brain's capable of, why is it not capable of doing that with a squat? If you're capable of making a mistake as a human being in life, right? Who's ever like misread a message, made something personal? Who's ever not shown up on time for something, been late, or just forgot somebody's birthday? Like, if you as a human being can make a mistake, and isn't it like also possible that your brain can make a mistake with what it's feeling? All our body can do is send signals. We've got nerves that send signals about temperature, like cold and hot, about pressure. When a muscle lengthens, we've got nerves that detect muscle length changes. All sensations are neutral. It's just communicating to our brain what's going on. How your brain interprets sensations and how it attaches meaning and assigns values, just like that study showed, deeply determines why and how you feel the way you do. Yeah, Miss Sam's feeling sorry for ourselves. It's a vicious downward cycle. And I talk time and time again, if you decide to join my program, one thing I talk often in my class is about, and I know it sounds woo-woo, I know it sounds a little emotional, I know maybe many of you are here for just give me the biomechanics and the exercise physiology and the science, but to just give you the mechanical and the physical stuff and ignore the mental and the emotional stuff would be giving you only half of the solution at best. And, something that we have to deeply consider is your emotional state and your attachment to feelings and sensations. Why do you think all of you started to feel better tonight? Was it the physicality? Yeah. But also recognize what I was telling you. Hey, take a deep breath, relax. We can do this. We're safe here. It's okay to move. This is okay. Your understanding it brought clarity, and in clarity can come groundedness. And when you're grounded, do you think you're moving closer towards fight, flight, freeze, the sympathetic nervous system? Or do you think you're moving closer towards parasympathetic, that calm, that rest, that digest system? This all has to do with regulation. Now, what I'm going to teach you is how to regulate your body through movement and somatic experiences. So, dealing with the neuroplastic. Because, oh my God, if I can get you to actually train exercise physiology, so actually get nerves and muscles to mechanically, chemically, and electrically work better together, yes, sweet. And if I can also walk you through how to reparent yourself and how to meet yourself with compassion again, and how you can drop the perfectionism. Many of you are here because you're hyper vigilant with your own body, constantly obsessing and scanning over every sensation and signal. And we've forgotten that it's okay to feel good. I know you don't, but it's okay to feel good. Like, that's okay. And that's allowed. And can we actually allow that? That doesn't mean gaslighting yourself, but that means, okay, yes, pain is a part of my story, but it's not the whole story. What else is going on? And learning how to retrain the brain, what and how and where to focus while improving movement patterns. My God, like, what do you think is going to happen in a year from now? What do you think is going to happen to your relationship with your body and movement and stress and fitness? And well, I guess that's for you to figure out. I guess that's only for you to see. And I hope you take me up on it. And if you don't, I hope you find somebody in the space that you feel like you trust enough to guide you and mentor you, that is really speaking your language. All right, we're 2 hours. I could go on for hours. Thank you all so much for coming. So many of you have stuck with this, even with this long 30-minute post exercise rant. I hope you got one value, one golden nugget, one aha moment. Before I hop off, share what your aha moment was with me, and then we'll call it an awesome squat challenge. Teresa, you get it. I've been there. I have been to the depth of that hole and to the top of the mountain. I know that path and how to get out of it well. And that's not like a braggadocious look at me. It's I've literally traveled there, and I've traveled there many times because pain was a lesson in disguise that kept showing up until I learned. I really learned it. And I hope that my teaching can have you not spend 10 of the best years of your life attached to pain, but can actually show you a different way. Yeah, Alice, you're welcome. Great question. K Austin 562. What is the reward of staying stuck? Maybe there isn't any, but maybe there is. And that, my friend, is worth examining. And we all owe it to ourselves to examine it. Regardless of the answer, it's worth being asked and answered. Oh, Jackie, you're 80 and teaching Qui-Gon. I learned so much from you. Thanks for saying that. Marilyn, thank you so much. You're welcome. Mama Moon, thank you for saying that. Blending science and movement. I feel like I'm at this beautiful like cross intersection of understanding the academics and also the like childhood adversity and the emotional side of chronic pain. And this is that meeting place. That's what Pain Academy is. Nice. Hank, you love the slow, deliberate warm-up. Beautiful. Sounds like that nervous system prep really helped you. Yeah, Luri, thanks for saying that. You're welcome, Gail. Gail? John, love you too, man. Thanks for coming. Christine, appreciate it. Excellent. Okay. All right. I hope to see as many of you on the inside as possible. And until then, my friends, please take care of yourself. Meet yourself with empathy and compassion. Your body's been through so much. And if I can have you just recognize that and understand your body is not something to go conquer and dominate, but it's something that is actually an ally to be understood. And it's an ally that we can learn how to work with, no longer against. That is going to be incredible. Pam, yeah, you can share this video. Once I'm done, this is just going to go on YouTube forever. So hopefully it was a good class. Hopefully this is a forever worthy video. All right, everybody. That being said, I'm out. Great workshop. Talk to you later.